when she said, "It's normal to hang out with male friends." It wasn't casual. It had a rhythm, a certainty, almost like she was chanting a mantra. Her voice was confident, light, as if she were schooling me on life itself. I nodded along, letting her words wash over me, pretending they didn't dig beneath the surface. But the way she emphasized normal had a precision that made me uneasy, like she was drawing lines only for herself. The thought lingered, not at me. If this was truly normal, then it should apply to both of us equally. The very next day, I reached out to an old coworker I trusted. Nothing more than coffee, no hidden intentions, just a familiar conversation. I framed it as a casual catch-up, nothing significant. When I told my wife, she replied tersely, "Who is she?" I answered honestly, naming the person and assuring her it was purely platonic. She said, "Okay," but the sharpness in her tone was unmistakable. Her small pause felt accusatory, and I tucked it away. The meeting itself was exactly as I had described. Conversation flowed easily, shared laughter, recalling old memories, the comfort that comes from knowing someone in another life. Yet, the memory of her previous declaration kept echoing. Did she mean both of us? Or had she meant only herself? Back home, the atmosphere was subtly altered. She moved with a sort of careful alertness, checking, asking, probing. How was traffic? Was the coffee good? When I replied it was fine, she closed her eyes briefly, tasting something bitter. Over the following week, the imbalance grew. She stayed late at work, attended dinners, and her laughter on the phone would vanish the moment I entered the room. Names appeared and disappeared on her screen. The freedom she claimed as normal for herself was cloaked in secrecy. My normal became a cautious observation, a constant measuring. I didn't explode, I documented. Screenshots of messages she claimed were from clients. Dates and times that didn't align. Snippets of conversations that, when stitched together, revealed a map of lies she never intended me to see. I transformed my pain into a meticulous ledger. When I confronted her, I braced for denial, anger, or maybe an emotional appeal. Instead, she met me with indignation. She labeled me jealous, narrow-minded, controlling. Her words were smooth, rehearsed. Her eyes darted away as I read the fragments aloud. She offered excuses, stress, loneliness, the need for adult conversation, but they felt fragile, hollow. Then she turned it on me, accusing me of invading her privacy, arguing that trust should flow both ways. I let her speak, letting her cling to the illusion of control. When she finished, I quietly closed the ledger. No arguments, no theatrics. That night, I made a decision. I wouldn't yell. I wouldn't retaliate illegally. I would respond with precision. I would expose the double standard, in a way that left no room for pretense. I invited a small group of mutual friends to dinner under the guise of celebrating a promotion I didn't have. The guest list included those whose opinions mattered, friends who trusted me, people who had witnessed her late nights. On the night itself, I kept my tone calm, my movements deliberate. Conversation flowed, casual and light, until I asked everyone to stay for a short statement. She laughed nervously, trying to deflect, but curiosity hung in the room. I opened my phone and began recounting the timeline, reading messages, connecting the dots between her stories and her actions. No embellishment, no dramatics, just the facts displayed clearly. The room went silent. Faces shifted. People who had admired her dedication now saw the contradictions in her behavior. The friend she claimed as a coworker avoided my gaze. Her rehearsed composure faltered. Fury pleading, then brittle silence. The normal she had carved for herself became evidence against her. After dinner, she tried to explain, to reframe, to salvage what remained of her narrative, but the damage was irreversible. The truth spread, subtle but undeniable, rippling through friends, family, and the man who had been hiding in her shadows. I didn't revel in her downfall. I reclaimed fairness. The revenge I sought was never about destruction. It was clarity and consequence. I wanted her to witness the rules she imposed on herself applied to her, to watch her scramble for excuses in front of those who mattered. In the weeks that followed, she moved out. The apartment, though emptier, felt lighter. I closed the ledger, deleted the last traces of her messages, and held on to the memory of that evening as a quiet reminder. Revenge, I realized, isn't always about breaking someone. Sometimes it's about restoring equilibrium, protecting your dignity, and allowing the truth itself to be the punishment.